guacamole. What a morning, I tell you. What a morning. Let me just do one of these. Try and reset the camera. Okay, there we go. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Wow, what a crazy morning, guys. A crazy morning. I gotta do a few things really quick. Do a mic check. Make sure we can hear everything. Guacamole. All right, we're good to go. Oh man, yeah. Talk about technical difficulties, guys. When you click one wrong button in this thing, you're getting hurt. You're getting hurt, and that's exactly what happened here. I clicked one wrong button, and then I was panicking before the market opened. But hey, we always adapt and overcome here, baby. Hats on today. We're putting it on backwards. You know what's coming is that old Papa Powell. We got it up and ready to go. We got my boy screaming daddy in the background. That's A-okay. But yeah, guys, holy cow. Some tactical difficulties. I tell you, this OBS thing, I might have to switch. I might just have to switch the streaming platforms because this OBS is just giving me so many difficulties lately. So many difficulties. But always adapt and overcome. Always gated, baby. So anyway, now I get to go into the YouTube studio because I accidentally started a whole nother live system. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. So nobody is confused. There we go. All right. Looks like we're good to go. Good morning, guys. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what we have going on today? You better believe it. Papa Powell. Papa Powell should be coming on around 10 o'clock. Maybe we put up a, if I don't mess this one up, we should put up a Geiger counter. A Geiger counter. So let's see how much time we got left until that thing pops up here. 26 minutes, 18 seconds. Let's see if I can bring up a timer here. 26 minutes, 18 seconds. We'll do 26 minutes right here. 26, come on. And then we'll get right into it. There we go. We can probably put this right here on the top. To the tippity of the top, baby. So, are you guys holding anything? That's my first question. My very first question is, are you holding anything through this meeting? I think it's it's kind of nerve-wracking when you got old Papa Powell coming out here. He could say anything. He really could say anything. So far with the Fed interest rate cuts and everything, he's been talking about a soft landing. So far with where the S&P 500 sits, you got to say he's done a pretty damn good job at creating actually this, at least an illusion of that we have this safe landing coming in, guys. And you know, I always say it pays to be positive. And so far, everything has been very, very positive. The S&P 500, aside from that Japanese carry trade that we had right here, we have been very positive, right? This Japanese carry trade, the great unwind, as a lot of people are calling it now. Aside from that, we haven't really had any crazy hiccups or any big issues ever since. You know, we've stayed at 5% all the way through this year, you know, and we've just been heading higher. We had this bloody 6-day sell-off back here, and then, you know, it created 3 new higher lows, found bullish sentiment support at that psychological and technical $500 area, and then it continued higher, and we just continued to rise, and it looked really, really good. I was very impressed with it, honestly. So what's going on, Saeed? What's going on, Sandra McDonald? It's good to see you. It's good to see everybody, she says. Jimmy Bright, the brightest of Jimmys. What's going on? The beefiest of Stewies. What's going on, brother? It's good to see you. Jimmy says no, he's not holding anything. Jolene, sweet Jolene. It's good to see you, Jolene. Smaid says calls on QQQ and a put on Google. What's up, Predator? Good to see you. FTDR, 88 on the 18th, a $50 call. I'm not familiar with that one. Let me look that one up. FTDR. Oh, look at this runner. This is a beautiful runner right here. Front door? Shut the front door. Look at this thing. Look at the earnings on this thing. Oh yeah, nice beat. Nice beat. I like this. So you took it on the 18th. Let's see, right here. Okay. That's nice. So you waited for the pullback, grabbed a hold of a few shares, let that baby rip. You're getting close to that 50. At 50 is going to be hard to break because it's a psychological area. 48.51 is its all-time high. We had a pullback with the rest of the S&P 500 yesterday. So yeah, as long as everything works out for you today with the old Powell coming out at 10 o'clock. Well, actually, I don't think the speech is in 23 minutes. Let me just double check that before I put up false information. Powell speech. I think it's at 10 o'clock. So we would actually have more like 45 minutes. Let's see. 10 a.m. Yeah, so we gotta change this. We gotta change this, y'all. We don't want to give false information. So let's see. It's 7. So we got 43 minutes. Let's change this. 43 minutes. $43. Let's go. All right. Now we're good to go. Let's turn on a little lo-fi music. Let me know if the music's alrighty. We don't want it to be too loud. And then I think we can kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. One other thing I do want to do, of course, I want to make sure I got Discord up. We have everybody in the trading room. We got Beef Stewie, Dan Bob, Predator, Jolene, and Red Baron in here. I'm just going to pop on in here. I'll make sure I mute the audio. That way I can chat with them while I'm here. What's going on, squad fam? It's good to see you. What up, what up, what up? Sweet Jolene. Beef Stewie.
How do you do both at the same time?
At the same damn time. What's going on, guys? I trust every one of you and not going to say anything that would get me banned on YouTube. So I appreciate you. Please don't. It would hurt my heart. But let's see. We know HOLO is going crazy today. Crazy. I just want to stop in and say hi. I'm going to mute myself, though, so that way it doesn't get confusing between the live stream and this. But, yeah, good to see you guys. So we got HOLO. This thing's going absolutely bonkers. Lots of volume coming in down here for that. I know a lot of people in the Robinhood stock market watch list are talking about this. You're seeing it across the board. A lot of people talking about HOLO. Remember, guys, this is a microchip. It's very, very small. If we bring it up on here, the greatest platform alive, which you guys are more than welcome to download this using my link in the link tree. You get a month free on them and a month free on me. But if we look at HOLO, we scroll down here, you'll see we have this area right here, more financials, and you can see 81 million shares. The free float right here, 77 million. So it's a very small float. It's not like sub 1 million like some of these, but it's moving like it's only got 1,000 in its float, guys. This thing is really moving along. So be really careful with HOLO if you're watching that small cap. We're also watching Kava. Kava today looks absolutely scrumptious. Also, this would be smart for me to hide that. Yeah, we don't want to give away that kind of information. So if we bring up Kava here, Kava's looking really nice. I like their gap up on earnings. Also, if we bring up Kava on this, you will see that they had a beautiful beat as well. We just click on this right here. Actually, it's not showing up just yet on this, but they had a good beat. It looks really, really nice. You can see it right here. Let's just take a little peeky gander, shall we? They expected 12. They got 17 on this. So they beat their estimates. Good guidance. They actually raised their guidance on this. So it looks really, really good. Let me just get everybody. All right. Yeah, so about 39 minutes. 39 minutes until, is that right? 40, 50. We're close. Close enough. I think we got actually 49 minutes. Yeah. What is going on, fam? Talk about early bird. I need to get this thing drink. Drink, drank, drunk. You guys ever play that game? When I was younger, we did. It was a good game. Let's go to 59 minutes. We'll do 58. There we go. All right, there we go. We got 58 minutes, guys. 58 minutes till the speech starts. No, I'm wrong again. It's 48. 48 minutes. I'll get it right, I promise. One of these days. 48 minutes till the speech starts. Old Papa Powell. I'm going to give him the microphone. We got it up. We got it ready. So that way we can hear it live. You can hear it first. It's going to be a beautiful thing. I am absolutely pumped for this, guys. You guys have to understand that this speech, all eyes are on this speech. Okay? All eyes are going to be on this speech. And we're talking across the globe. Okay? Old Papa Powell, when he comes out, people in Japan are definitely going to be keeping an eye on this because it's going to move Japan's markets. It's going to move markets globally. Okay? So all eyes are going to be on this. This is going to be a very wild event. If you want to talk about Super Bowls, this is the Super Bowl right here. This will be considered the Super Bowl of the markets, okay? Because all eyes are on Fed Chair Powell. He has his fingers in this monetary policy, him and his crew, his squad over there, which, you know, they have a lot of influence globally on the markets. Okay, if he raises those interest rates, holy cow, you're going to see catastrophic disaster. There is no chance that he's most likely, I shouldn't say no chance, but there's a huge probability that he will not raise interest rates. Okay, but there are two probabilities that are in the air right now, and we're going to be listening to his speech. It's supposed to be really, really finite. He's not going to come out and say, hey, I'm going to raise interest rates or I am going to cut interest rates. What he'll be doing is he'll be hinting to the job labor market because that's what it all hinges on. Right now, we have an expectancy of a 71.5% chance to cut rates by a quarter of a basis point. We have a 28.5% chance to cut rates by a 50% basis point. Now, this could change with just one swift speech, one verberation coming out of Fed Chair Powell's mouth, and it can change these probabilities immediately. Now, I think we all are in agreement in September 18th, we are going to get a rate cut. But the issue with this is what kind of cut are we going to expect to get? I know that when this rose to a 50% chance or a 70% chance a couple weeks ago because of the carry trade, we seen the market fail, right? Because there's some pretty scary things out there. The Fed would be almost forced with the VIX volatility index being so high. The last time we were this high was back during the pandemic, okay? Now we're seeing a little bit of fear right now, which is understandable with, you know, Powell coming out here with the initial jobless claims being a little higher yesterday. So when we see these things and we interpret these things, we have to understand during this Super Bowl of a financial day, okay? The Powell Bowl, we'll call it. The Powell Bowl coming out today, we have to understand that these can change, and with the changing of these rates, you're going to see the changing of the S&P 500. So it's very important that we keep an eye on this. The only thing I'm holding is ASTS. I bought the dip on ASTS. It is extended. I bought this yesterday when it came down very sharply down here at support. I bought this up and I sold the majority of it on this pop. And I'm just holding my last 200 shares for the low of the day. If this thing breaks this low of the day, I'm going to exit out. It's just a small trade, 200 shares. If it breaks this area, I'll stop out for like a $40 loss, $50 loss. Okay, right now I'm up only $128 on this piece. Yesterday I made about $500 on ASTS just playing off this low, but I didn't want to hold anything through you know, overnight for one, and two during this trade. So the only thing I am holding is this very, very small share size. I might stop out even before the speech begins, but I do want you guys to know I am in ASTS. I'm holding very, very small. What I see for ASTS in the long run is just a pullback and a flag to set up. I would love to see this. This is what I'm hopeful for, right, guys? I'm just hopeful that it does something like this, where it comes up. I could probably paint this a better picture on here. check this out. Let me just blow this up. I'll just show you guys. So we have these rising up here. This is the last time I played it right here. We made, what is that? Risk reward 14. We made a 14R on this trade the last time we played this, okay? Now we get earnings, which I don't play earnings because I consider it a huge gamble, okay? So earnings comes up. We get a big push up on volume, a pullback, and now it's starting to trade sideways. What I would like to see is something like this setup, okay? We draw that out, and then I'll paint you a picture. So we get this big push up. I'd like to see a pullback and for it to do something like this, okay? The higher, the tighter, the better, okay? So if it can hold these lows and even do something like this where it gets tighter and trades sideways with more of a flat bottom base like this, it'll keep me in this trade, okay? So let's say it comes back up and gets tight like this. Well, this 10-day moving average rises up. Then we have some blast off to the north side, you know, hopefully right here, it'll take off. But of course, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. If I had a crystal ball, not only would I be rich, but everybody in this Discord and watching on the YouTube would be filthy freaking rich because, you know, I love to share. I absolutely love to share. So cheers to me. This one's for me, not for you. I don't know what you're drinking out there. Let me know in the chat. You drinking some coffee? What you guys sipping on? What else we got? Norman Conklin, good morning, good morning. Mo Wealth's in the building. What's going on? Nalani, Yosef, good morning, guys. It's good to see you. Cheers to you. This one's for me, though. This one's for me, not for you. Actually, check out this koozie. I got this at the concert last night. That's Uppercut Possum. Uppercut Possum right there. We got all the swag. We got all the swag. We got shirts. We got stickers. We got koozies. They did an awesome job last night, so cheers to my brother-in-law for killing it. We went to the fair. It was awesome. My gut's kind of paying for it this morning. Sitting back, relaxing, and then I hear, my gut is not happy with me at all today. Not at all. But we are all here for one thing and one thing only. That's me. No, I'm just kidding. It's Fed Chair Powell. Fed Chair Powell is going to be coming out in about 40 minutes, guys, and we are going to watch it together. We're going to listen together, and we're going to listen to the small nuances. We're going to watch the S&P 500 to watch it fluctuate, to watch this thing flux while he speaks. If he says the right thing, maybe he'll say something on the lines of like, to be preemptive with the job labor market, to be proactive against the job labor market failing. It would be in the Fed's best interest to use our monetary policy to keep that from happening. If he says something on those lines, he's saying we need to cut rates. How hawkish he is about, or how dovish he is about cutting those rates, you're gonna see it fluctuate massively. Okay, so right now we've been heading straight up. We're getting very close to kissing those all-time highs at 565.16. And I think it has a chance of doing that. And that's what I asked in the poll here. There's 17 votes already. And we just put this vote up 35 minutes ago. So we were rip tater chipping. Will the SPY, the S&P 500, react to Powell's speech to being bearish or bullish? So how will the S&P 500 react to Powell? Are they going to be, is the market's going to be more bearish or bullish? 76% of you say that we will be heading higher, and 18% heading lower. 6% said you're just here for the speech and that you don't know. Well, that's A-okay too. That is A-okay too. But while you're here, while I have you here, take a look at my screen, guys. Do me a favor, smash this like button. Do me a favor, just smash that like button for me, please, and thank you. It's absolutely free. It helps out the channel a lot. For the algo, do it for the algorithmic. Do it for the algorithmics. Thank you, Predator, for teaching me how to pronunciate. Do it for the algos, baby. Do it for me. Do it now. Do it for yourself. We're bringing you the best show out here. I've watched plenty of other shows out there, and they have plenty more views than I do. And I don't like to compare, but you know, we're doing it better here. We're doing it better. We're bringing you good information. We bring you the technical analysis. We bring you the news. We bring everything to your sweet, sweet ears. I don't know why you'd need another show. But we bring on awesome people. We bring on Covey. We bring on the sweet Jolene. We bring on Danny. Your boy Danny's out there, huh? And we're going to bring on many, many more guests. And they are all very enlightening. All a riot. I had so much fun doing things with Jolene the other day. We're going to have her back on for sure. I'd like to have B. Stewie on here. one of these days so we could go over his charting, his setups. He's always got amazing questions. And of course, I think one of these days, very, very soon, the greatest moderator alive, Dan Bob Dan, you better believe it. We're going to have to bring him on here too. He does all this work in the background, doesn't get enough credit. So we're going to have to do that one of these days very, very soon as well. So yeah, guys, let's dive into this. So the S&P 500 is sitting at 559.70 currently. We have the QQQs sitting here around 479. And you know what's funny? Last time we were here, I pointed this out to you guys. And I also said, I made a quote of what I said. I said, if you say we're going to have a pullback every single day, eventually you will be right. That's my quote, If you call a pullback every single day of every single morning and you expect a pullback, guess what? You're going to get that pullback. Well, the night before the pullback, guys, I called once again that I think we're going to get a pullback. Well, I have huge reasons for this, right? We came into resistance here. We did get that pullback. But we ran into some resistance here at 456 and blew through it. 450, we blew through it. 462, 465, and 474, we slowed down, but we still blew through it. So now we're up here at this resistance area 487, and we finally, and I drew this out, this gray area for you. I said, getting up into here, we're starting to slow. I'm expecting a pullback just like I did multiple other times. But the market just could not stop, would not stop. Huge bullish sentiment, right? And then we finally get up into this area and we have a pullback, right? So we finally get this pullback in the QQQs, which is healthy. Everybody needs to understand that this pullback that we had yesterday is so healthy. It's so healthy for the overall market. Speaking of Dan Bob, where the hell is Dan Bob? Did somebody not wake Dan Bob up? Why is Dan Bob sleeping? Somebody wake Dan Bob up. I'm gonna have to go into the Discord. I'm gonna have to find ourselves a Dan Bob. Dan Bob, where are you, Dan Bob? What the hell? Dan Bob. Wake up, Dan Bob. What are you doing? Dan Bob, are you sleeping? Nope. Now he's not answering. We got a voice chat we're all a part of too in the Discord. You guys are more than welcome to join that. I can show you just really quick how to do that. If you guys click on this more down below, you can go ahead and scroll down. Click this trading view right here. If you click on this trading view, we have so many great things a part of this. If you click on the YouTube, you'll see right away, you can find us right here in the trading school. We show you how to set up this amazing platform that we use on TradingView. We show you how we play base and trend breakouts. We show you how to play episodic pivots or EPs. We teach you risk management. We teach you volume. If you're very, very new, we teach you what candlesticks are, what PDT rule is. We teach you all that stuff, So with that being said, you guys, all you need to do is join up. Join up. It's absolutely free. Click that like and subscribe button. And then there's the Discord. We all have hearts of gold here. Open minds, hearts of gold. And if you have that too, you can join our Discord. It's absolutely free. Just click on the Discord link. And then of course, here's the TradingView link. If you want this same amazing platform that I do all my charting on, you guys just need to click on that. Click on that. You get the first month free on them. The second month is on me. All you got to do is use this TradingView link. All right. Now back to the show. We have 4 minutes until the market's open, and we have about 34 minutes till old Papa Powell comes out. Now, I can look through these small cap stocks because I've been looking at my strategy for a 5-minute opening range break on these. And currently what I am seeing, I'm not seeing a 5-minute opening range break on these. This one looks like it could be promising, but I'm only getting 2 new higher lows here. Not seeing much on that. PRTG just fell flat on its face. FFIE is the only thing that's really promising currently. So what I'll do with a small cap stock is I have a strategy, and I can bring up this strategy right now for you, just so that way you guys have a better understanding of how to set up a process. That's one thing that we like to do. I don't act like I'm some guru that makes millions of dollars. No, I'm a trader, and I like to learn how to trade. I like to learn new strategies, all that good stuff. But I always want people to understand, first of all, how to have a process. Now, this process has made me quite a bit of money in the past couple of weeks, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But my strategy is all right here. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. I just started working on this a couple of weeks ago, but I've added a ton of examples, okay? And the main thing that you need to look at is that this is going to be on the 5-minute time frame, guys. The 5-minute time frame. We're looking for new higher lows and new lower highs, 3 to be exact, on the 5-minute time frame. If you can find those new higher lows and those new lower highs, you can take the strategy if it breaks out, okay? But right now, on all of the small cap stocks, I'm not seeing that strategy come to fruition. The only thing I really want to watch here is Kava. Kava's looking really, really good. Now, if you guys want, if there's something out there that you want me to watch, you're more than welcome to. We got 30 minutes to kind of kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. I want to turn up the lo-fi a little bit. Will you guys let me know if this lo-fi is too loud, the music? Let me know if it's too loud for you. Here we go. We got 2 minutes till market open, guys. 2 minutes till market open. We'll be doing some live trading in front of you here if any of the trades set up. Honestly, I wish I could hear the music in my ears. I love that lo-fi music. All right, guys, we got 1 minute till market open. If you got something that you're watching, let me know. Right now, HOLO is out there. I know it's very, very popular right now. I know a ton of people are watching HOLO, so we'll keep a close eye on HOLO. We're going to keep an eye on the S&P 500. We want to make sure that that's rocking, that that's doing really well. Trying to manage a few screens here. The S&P 500 is up very, very nicely. Very, very nicely in the pre-market. That's very nice to see. Dan, Bob, you made it. Good morning. Right before market open. Good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing all right. Hope everything's well in your beautiful world. All right, let's do this. 14 seconds, guys. 14 seconds to market open. If you got something that you want me to watch, let me know. I'll take a little peeky gander at it. If not, I am looking for 3 new higher lows, 3 new lower highs on the 5-minute time frame. If not, that's A-okay. I'm still holding on to ASTS. We're up about $174 at market open. We'll see what happens, though, throughout the day. Just buying the dip there. So I have OPRA. That alert just went off. This is a beautiful setup. I totally forgot about this. This is my setup as well. So you get your 3 new higher lows, 1, 2, 3, even 4, and your new lower highs. So you have, you can take this if you wanted to, but we would go 1, 2, and 3. It already broke out, so I don't want to take this, but this is it. OPRA already gapped up. I was hoping this would trade sideways and then break out in the first thing this morning, but that's A-okay. OPRA already did its thing, baby. So we'll see what wants to happen with that. We're up $237 right at the market open this morning on ASTS, just holding those 200 shares. So we'll see what happens with this. You know, guys, like I said, I've already drawn this out for you in the other platform, but I'm expecting this thing. To just trade sideways. I plan on being in this for a while, so we'll see what happens with it. Yeah, so things are looking mighty fine. Now, do keep in mind, Powell's coming out in less than 30 minutes, guys. Less than 30 minutes for old Papa Powell. It's very important that we know this. It's very important that we know this because if you're in any trades, things can either get stagnant, sideways, or get very, very volatile. I think everything is going to get very volatile when he comes on, but things are going to be just kind of pretty boring before he comes out. It's going to be more like sideways action, until Powell comes out. He's going to drop that mic. And Dan Bob, if you can find that YouTube video, maybe I can look it up real quick. That YouTube video that I made of when he comes out and he talks. It's a good one. It's a good one. Good morning. And then he just, the markets just crash or they go skyrocket. One of the two. But we'll see. Oh, I want to keep an eye on Kava as well. Yeah. Dan Bob says, howdy. Just been a busy morning. Well, I hope everything is going good, brother. I'm glad it's not a boring morning. Kava right off the rip. First thing this morning, it is getting a lot of volume to the north side. This is a beautiful, beautiful thing for Kava. Let's take a look at the 1 minute. We could even take a 1 minute opening range break on this thing if we weren't too worried about the old Papa Powell speech. Maybe we should just take a very small bet on this, just 1/3 share size, like 25 shares on this as a stock in play. But I'm going to be true to my word. I'm going to tell myself I'm waiting for the setup. I'm going to wait for the setup or a VWAP bounce. I'm waiting for the setup because I know Powell is going to come out here. I already have ASTS. I don't want to be in multiple stocks. We're going to let this one go and we can regret it later, right? we can regret this later. It's no big deal. I don't mind a regret, right? We live to regret. No, only kidding. But we're going to see. We'll see what happens with Kava because to be quite honest, I really like this stock. I like that they have, basically, it's kind of like a Chipotle. I haven't been there. When I went to New York, I actually passed up my opportunity to go there because I was so interested in the smash burgers down there. It's called like Street 10 or 10th Street or something like that. They have these smash burgers down there, and they were absolutely amazing. They smash them with water and onion, and it's just so good. It's so damn good. I love those burgers. But I passed up Kava, even though I was interested in doing, looking into Kava all the way back here when I went to New York. And obviously looking at the stock now, I wish I did. But I want to eat there. I want to eat the Mediterranean food. We looked up their menu the last time we were on here. It looks like some good food. What I like about this stock is that they have a menu that is cheap for them for the turnover, just like Mexican food where you got beans, rice, and then you have your meat, cheese, sour cream, right? It's like all very easy things to grab, kind of throw in a bowl and go. So it's quick, it's cheap, and it's not cheap for the consumer, right? So they're charging $10 a burrito, right? But for them to make it, it's costing $3 for them to make it, right? Maybe $4. I don't really know, with the cost of, labor and the overhead to keep a roof over their head and the product. I don't know what it's really costing them per burrito, but what I do know is that the turnover is cheap for buying the food, right? And the food that they have isn't like it's hard to find. Same thing with Kava. It's cheap, right? It's not very hard to find their ingredients that they have. And I think Kava's a really good model here. They're not paying me to say all this, but wow, that is a lot of volume on this. Let's put this on the 5-minute time frame really quick. If we look at the 5-minute time frame and we just compare this volume compared to any other volume that it's ever been traded, this is looking really, really nice here. With an average daily range of 4.9%, you can see that we're still within that average daily range. And if we were to take it on the 5-minute opening range break, man, this is hard not to buy this, honestly, with all this volume. 110 to 113, you're risking $3 here. So $3, why not? Why not just take a small bid, $75, just to see what happens here? I mean, just the volume itself is really creating. I want to stay true to this, but this volume is screaming at me to get in here. Yeah, I should have just put my bid out. I'm gonna wait though. I want to stay true to what I was saying. I have ASTS. We're up $356 on the day for ASTS. The volume's coming in on that too. I'm just gonna wait, guys. I'm just gonna wait. I've tried to get into Kava so many times, so many stinking times. I'm probably gonna regret this. We'll regret it later. The volume is absolutely enormous on this morning on Kava. It really is. It's enormous on Kava. And it would not surprise me if this thing really did not take off. I'm probably really going to regret this. You know, I'd already be up 25 bucks in this damn stock. I'm going to regret this, but it's okay. Maybe one of the boys in the chat got it. What do you guys think? You guys like Kava? You like the volume on Kava? Talk to me. Yeah, things are looking good, guys. Things are looking really good. But now the S&P 500, let's see where that's sitting. So the S&P 500 did a initial dip this morning after a huge push up in the pre-market. So it's gapped up, and now let's see, is it going to hold this gap? That's the real question there. Is it going to hold this gap? That is the real question. If it can hold this gap, that would be a beautiful thing, and it continues higher. But with the Powell speech coming out in 23 minutes, anything can happen here. Anything can happen, guys. I'm just going to mark this out so I can further regret it later. Right here. And we'll put it in purple. So that way when I look at it, I go, why is that there? Oh, that's right. That's where I was going to buy it, and I decided not to for some reason. Oh, that's right. Powell speech. I mean, at this point, I'm going to feel hurt either way. If it goes down, you know, I'm going to be like, well, if I took that, I'd be down money. If it goes up, I'm going to be hurt because I'm going to look at it and I'm going to go, I should have taken that. You know, it's a lose-lose situation for me, but I'll just keep on looking at ASTS as it prints me money. We're up $388 on it today, making new records. What a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. We like to see this. If we were to draw something out on this, we could do something like this just to give us some hope. But I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I really think this is going to trade sideways for a while. So I'm not expecting this to show me any gains for at least another 3 days before it breaks out of this kind of area. If it breaks out from this area and continues to head higher, I don't think it's going to be that good. I want more digestion. I want a longer sideways tradable action for more people to get in, for more people, the weak hands to sell off here. Okay. Now, if it wants to go straight up and continue higher, I'm going to have to take off another 100 shares. You know, I'm going to have to, because I'm not going to expect this thing to continue to rally straight up, right? We always have expansion, contraction, and then some sideways action. Expansion, contraction, then some sideways action. Right now, we're not getting a ton of that sideways action, so we'll see what happens here. All right. Things are going really good. So far, so good. For up 453 bucks so far this morning. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 as we're kind of just still just trading sideways, which that's what I expect, at least until after Powell comes out. I think he's got a lot to address. And you know, this Jackson Hole, I don't know if they're going to drill him with questions. Let's see here. Okay. Things are looking good. I'm excited for this, guys. I am. Hell, I think it's been like a month before we've gotten to hear from Powell, and I always have my work on my hands. I always have plenty of work after a Powell speech because there's always plenty of people that that like the YouTube shorts on these. So I'll just be ripping through some YouTube shorts, trying to get everything taken care of to ingest all of this data. So we'll see what happens. But I'm excited. This is like the Super Bowl, guys. This really is. It's like the Super Bowl for for the overall market. And you guys can see here, like I was saying before, you know, we're probably just going to be trading sideways, and you can see all this gray matter in here. More green than red, more gray than green. You can see a lot of things are just trading sideways. Everybody's just kind of waiting and watching to see what's going to happen at the old Powell speech. Now, NVIDIA said, hold my beer. NVIDIA was like, hey, look, we don't give a gosh darn. We're going to take a look and see what's going to happen here. And look, they are going straight up right now. So we'll see what happens with NVIDIA. You guys can see down here is the daily chart. NVIDIA is looking really nice. They've been trading sideways for a while, though. They took a big hit with the rest of the overall market yesterday. They're pushing up here. We'll see if it's sustainable or if they're going to continue down. Now, remember, NVIDIA has earnings on the 28th. We will be streaming that live as well. NVIDIA earnings is always a good time here. Hopefully, we get to see from the gentleman, the CEO of that, see what he has to say. But yeah, Apple, NVIDIA, AVGO, all looking really good right now. Tesla as well. Tesla, Meta, all the Mag 7 stocks look like they're trying to give a nice little push this morning. Let's take a look at Meta. Meta, yeah, we need to keep an eye on Meta because it just touched all-time highs yesterday before the big pullback. So Meta has been showing very, very fruitful on this whole pullback. During the whole pullback, the pullback, and then as we started to buy back into things, Meta was already there. Meta was above all of its moving averages while things were all still trying to catch up. So Meta is doing much better than anything else around it. And, you know, Zuckerberg does jujitsu, so I kind of like him too. He's got my biasy. I'm going to set my alert one more again right here. What I would like to see for this to happen, okay, just like I love to see bases form, I'd like to see this continue to hit its head over and over and over again. The longer, the better. If we can get 2 weeks out of this, I would be happier with that. Let it get super, super tight. Now, this is a smaller ADR percentage, but I really feel like this thing can blast off to the north side if it can get above this 143 area on volume. If there's volume that follows up, not only we're going to get breakout traders, but we'll get momentum traders, and we will get the fear of missing out traders directly after that getting a hold of this, and we might have a nice uptrend like you've seen here, like you've seen here, where it just keeps on keeping on, and that would be nice for Meta. So I think Meta's looking really, really good in the overall charts. You know, I haven't seen in a while is AVGO. AVGO also had that big sell-off, bounce off the 200-day moving average, and then came right back up here. I know everybody was getting excited after this. Everybody was getting excited. Everybody wanted to buy up here. When we get this pullback, you don't hear those same people wanting to buy, which I think is kind of funny. You know, everybody wants to buy when it's high, but doesn't want to, you know, take the risk when it's low. Now, I don't care to buy when it's low. I want to see new higher lows, right? And right now you have one new higher low. Here's your second new higher low. You know, I think if we can get a nice tight base at 176, this might be an area right here. And this thing is moving 5.2% for this big of a company. That's really nice to see. All right. Yeah, but this heat map is just looking gray. Just looking gray. We got about 15 minutes, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I constantly am bringing you news. The Bull Bear Brief was yesterday. We went over Berkshire Hathaway and old Warren Buffett, his new buying, his new holding. Did you guys hear? Siri? Really? Siri? What is this old man buying this for? Now, I'm sure there's an underlying reason for all of this, but he didn't just buy. He added to his account. He added to it. Okay, 15 minutes, guys. Stay tuned. 15 minutes. We're going to have Papa Powell coming out here. We got the speech up and ready. It's right here, okay? Don't you worry. Don't you worry your little sweet, sweet ears. We're going to drill you with what old Papa Powell needs to say. But in the meantime, let's try and understand why SIRI is being bought up by Warren Buffett. This is a faster mover at 5.6%, well below a 200-day moving average, and it's declining. So this is like a penny stock, guys. And Warren Buffett is buying the hell out of this thing, okay? Millions and millions of stocks that he is, shares that he has added to this. So if you're looking for a cheap stock backed by a big Buffett, this would be the stock to look at. Now, I don't recommend this stock because this is not how I trade. I look for new higher lows to be made. Now, you have a low here, a new higher low, but because it's below all of its declining, because it's below its 200-day moving average, I don't care for this. But what I would say as a breakout trader, anything above this $4 might be very advantageous. So I'm going to set my alert here because if it does create 1, 2, 3 new higher lows, gets tight here right under $4, I could see how this would be very advantageous to buy and be a part of Siri for a long-term catalyst. Now, they do have a lot of people that are coming out recently that are starting to join Siri XM radio. But I remember when I was a kid, when it first came out, you'd have to pay an extra amount of money, but it had all these channels. I want to say that there wasn't like any, commercials on there. I could be wrong, but even if there were so many different podcasts and things to listen to. So Siri XM radio was actually just amazing at the time. Like, it was mind-blowing. But I see it as a dying breed, like, cool. Everybody's got satellite radio, right? Or everybody has YouTube or YouTube Music or YouTube Premium or, iHeartRadio is popular around here. I don't even really know what that model is, but there's so many things out there, Spotify, Apple. Everybody has their own musics and podcasts and all that stuff. Why would Siri XM radio do well? Well, one thing is they're hiring on all these celebrities, right? And celebrities will really change the trajectory of a company. And you can see down here, there's a lot of volume coming in at this base. And you can see it is starting to curl back up a little bit. Now, is it going to be like this curl here where it curls up and then sells off hard? I don't know. We'll have to see. But what I do know is there is volume starting to come in down here. Is this the old Berkshire Hathaway volume? Is this where he is buying up to help support this area? It very well could be. Now, we have the Papa Powell speech coming out in less than 12 minutes. So make sure you stay focused, vigilant, and alert. Right now, the only holding I am holding today is ASTS. We're up about $426 on this trade. It's just a trade that I was holding from last night. Of course, I still wish I was holding all 500 shares that I took of this. I would be up a crazy amount. I'd be up probably $1,500, but I'm not. I don't really care. I don't really care, guys. I'm happy with the 200 that I have. I don't want to. I don't want to get too excited about this. You shouldn't get too excited about any trade where you're just going to lose, as Danny liked to portray yesterday on one of those famous quotes. But check out the poll, guys. Check out my screen really quick. Right here is the poll. You guys are more than welcome to vote on this poll here. The poll asks, will the SPY reach, or how will the SPY react, the S&P 500 react to Powell? Will they be bearish or bullish? That is the question. So I'm really curious. Oh, Pandora, B. Stewie? My wife still listens to Pandora. Holy guacamole. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, I don't watch Pandora. But anyway, on my screen here, guys, I'm going to refresh this. Let's see how many likes that we are up to, guys. Right here is the like button, in case most of you don't know where it's at, because there's 14 of you watching. So I got to point it out. I got to say, make sure that you click this live button. If you're not live, you're not going to get the data that is coming in raw to your sweet, sweet ears right away. So make sure you click this live button right here, right now. Make sure you click that like button, and let's keep on keeping on, okay? Yeah, guys, do it now. Yeah, Pandora, B. Stewie. It's funny that you say Pandora, dude, because I made fun of my wife just yesterday for bringing up Pandora. She likes to go on these runs. As I've told you guys before, I'm very proud of her. She goes for these long runs. She's over 30 and she's still just going on these long runs. I can't run a mile, let alone she's out there, getting it. She ran 10 miles the other day. It just blows my mind that she's still able to go out there and just do it. And she just comes back and she's like, oh yeah, it was pretty tough. It's like, pretty tough? 10 miles is pretty tough? Like, no, I would be dead. I would be dead. My knee would be blown out. My feet would be destroyed. So I'm so proud of her. But she listens to Pandora while she's running. I don't get it. She's got this one playlist she always listens to. It's the same music I listened to when I was younger too. So I can't knock the music she's listening to. But Pandora? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing listening to Pandora? Like, that was 10 years ago, woman. But no. It's a good time. It's a good time. But yeah, Pandora is one of those too. But is it going to come back? Should we invest in Pandora? Do they even have an IPO? That's the question, Does Pandora even have an IPO? Now Pandora, when I think of it, is that the little beads. Remember, is that called Pandora? Where you go and you buy these beads for women's wrists and their anklet bracelets and stuff. Man, people were spending so much damn money on all that. It's ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. So, but yeah, guys, we got the Fed Chair Powell's coming out in about 8 minutes. I'm just sitting here rambling on about jewelry. Let's see, Predator. What are you putting in here? 2020 Stitcher, Simple, United Clothes, Pandora. Are these all streaming? Are these all streaming things that you're putting in here? Not 100% what you're doing there, Predator. Help me out. Help me pronunciate, good sir. All right, the not too surprising. The S&P 500 just kind of trading sideways. Oh, they're also doing something to enhance in-car voice AI. Okay. Also, they're buying up these other companies. Is that what it is? I'm assuming that's what you're putting in there. Simple Class, Uniqlo's, Pandora, Stitcher. I think Stitcher was a clothing company. But PGHL, just my alert just went off for that. So I'm going to take a little peeky gander. All right, so this is like a basing, but the volume's pretty shitty. I'm not seeing any volume coming in. So I'm just going to reset this alert right here in case we get more volume for this. And then, of course, I want to go over just before Papa Powell comes out, my small cap watch list. We have APDN is starting to really get some volume here. Of course, I don't have a play on it because it doesn't show my setup. FFIE starting to pull back. GDC starting to pull back. MINTS pulling back. PRTG looks like it popped back up there. We're going to see what happens with that. And SQNS, now this is looking promising. You get this big push up, a pullback, and then right as market opens, it pushes up. If it can hold these lows and create new higher lows, 3 new higher lows, 3 new lower highs right here, set up a flagging formation in this area, this is what I'm looking for, okay? So right now we have 2 new higher lows. We have 1, and we'll see what it wants to do here, obviously, but we have 1 new we have 1 new low. We need a new higher low and 1 more new higher low in order to consider this my setup, and then we just need to get tight breakout on volume. So we'll see. SQNS is going to be on my watch list now. So SQNS. Before we start up here, we need to take a look at ASTS. Let's see where we're at. Looks like we're up $514 on this trade currently. Look at that. Half a G while I'm on the rip with you guys. So that's pretty nice. We'll see what actually wants to happen with ASTS. As I explained earlier, I think this thing is just going to get tighter. So I'm not even going to look at my P&L because, well, if I look at my P&L, I'm going to want to take this money out right now. When in actuality, I'd rather just wait and try to hold on to this unless it breaks this low of 33. Actually, a part of me wants to take out half of this just to pay myself and say, hey, I made $250 today. EVGO just went off. Let's take a look at EVGO. Take a little peeky gander here. So EVGO is riding this 21-day moving average. We have this beautiful trend line right here, getting very, very tight. Looks like it's starting to break out here on the daily. Is there volume here? Let's take a little peeky gander on the 5-minute, and here's the volume. Guys, this is something that I am very interested in with 76.95. We're going to do the math right here. We got 95 cents, 0.95 minus 0.76. That's 19 cents. We multiply that by 100. That's $19. So we can take, I feel like I need to do that better. We can take 1,000 shares of this for $190. Right before the Powell speech. But the volume, but the breakout, but the blah, 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 bam. Gonna put this on day, and then the spread's only a penny. I'm doing it. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm just gonna give it a shot. I'm only risking here, guys. I'm only risking half of an R, and I'm gonna set my stop to low of day. So I just took a trade before the speech. I did it. Oh well, I did it. You've seen it here live. This is what I'm looking for. Riding the 21-day moving averages. If they're a big push up, a pullback, it starts riding these moving averages. It gets tight, and now it's trying to break out on volume. You've seen the 5-minute volume right here come in. All right, so I am riding on the shoulders of those giants. When's the last time that volume came in that high? I haven't seen it. Not on this 5 minutes, so I have very good reason for taking this trade, and I did it here with you live. So EVGO, I took this trade. I'm risking $190. We're going to see what happens with this. I don't care if this comes all the way back down and stops me out. It will tell me that I was wrong. So I took EVGO live for you here now. We have about 3 more minutes till Papa Powell comes out, and he has the mic. I'm going to give him the mic. I'm going to let him spit his game. We'll see if he's got something worthwhile to say. ASTS, we're up about $566 currently on that as we just took EVGO right before Papa Powell comes out in the speech. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? You let me know in the chat. I don't really care. I did it. I like it. And I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to stick to it. Now, these are my trades. They are not yours, so I highly suggest you not following me in any trade. I've been wildly wrong before, and I probably wildly wrong again, but we will see. And of course, right before Powell comes on, I want everybody to do me a huge favor. I don't ask of anything on this channel. I truly do not ask you to do anything except for these 3 things. 1, like. 2, subscribe if you are entertained. If you're finding enjoyment in this channel, hit that subscribe button so you can be a part of this beautiful channel. And if you have a heart of gold and an open mind, I would really consider joining our Discord. Our Discord here, we have awesome people. We have our Sweet Jolene, our Dan Bob Dan, our Beef Stewie, our Predators. We have the OGs out here, and seriously, they are all, each and every one of them, they are all awesome. And I love each and every one of them. I really do. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And with that being said, we only have a couple minutes, and Papa Powell is going to come out here, and he is going to drop the mic. Hopefully, he doesn't drop the ball on the S&P 500. So we'll see very, very soon. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll fund this other one here by selling this. Whoops, wrong button. I'm going to fund my trade on EVGO by selling into that. And then I'm going to set my stop again to this low of the day for 100 shares. So I sold half of my ASTS. So we locked in $250 on ASTS there. So that way we have funded this trade here, EVGO. So if EVGO wants to continue higher on that volume, on that trend break, then we're gonna let it ride, baby. Ride, baby, ride. And if it doesn't and it wants to fail, well, hey, I've already paid for this trade. That's the way I've seen it. That's my psychology behind it. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of this Geiga counter because Papa Powell should be coming out very soon. And here we go. All right, we got some speakers out here. I don't know how big you guys want this. Maybe we could do something like this. Ooh, I see him. Hi, Powell. Hey, bro.
And I'm going to be your moderator for today's sessions. As you heard last night from Jeff, the topic for the symposium is reassessing the effectiveness and transmission of monetary policy. So it's a super important topic, particularly right now. And we've got some great papers lined up for this morning. We've got 2 papers, and we also have a panel lined up for that. But before we get to any of that, I am delighted to say that we have Federal Reserve Chair Jay Powell here to deliver opening remarks. So with that, let me welcome Jay Powell to the podium.
There's our boy. There's our boy. I'm clapping. All right, guys, pay attention.
Thank you, Karen, and thanks to our host from the Kansas City Fed.
S&P 500's already taken off, 560.99.
4.5 years after COVID-19's arrival, the worst of the pandemic-related economic distortions are fading. Inflation has declined significantly. The labor market is no longer overheated, and conditions are now less tight than those that prevailed before the pandemic. Supply constraints have normalized, and the balance of risks to our 2 mandates has changed. Our objective has been to restore price stability while maintaining a strong labor market, avoiding the sharp increases in unemployment that characterized earlier disinflationary episodes when inflation expectations were less well anchored. While the task is not complete, we have made a good deal of progress toward that outcome. Today, I will begin by addressing the current economic situation and the path ahead for monetary policy. I will then turn to a discussion of economic events since the pandemic arrived, exploring why inflation rose to levels not seen in a generation and why it has fallen so much while unemployment has remained low. So let's begin with the current situation and the near-term outlook for policy. For much of the past 3 years, inflation ran well above our 2% goal, and labor market conditions were extremely tight. The FOMC's primary focus has been on bringing down inflation, and appropriately so. Prior to this episode, most Americans alive today had not experienced the pain of high inflation for a sustained period. Inflation brought substantial hardship, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials, like food, housing, and transportation. High inflation triggered stress and a sense of unfairness that linger today. Our restrictive monetary policy helped restore balance between aggregate supply and demand, easing inflationary pressures and ensuring that inflation expectations remained well anchored. Inflation is now much closer to our objective, with prices having risen 2.5% over the past 12 months. After a pause earlier this year, progress toward our 2% objective has resumed. My confidence has grown that inflation is on a sustainable path back to 2%. Turning to employment, in the years just prior to the pandemic, we saw the significant benefits to society that can come from a long period of strong labor market conditions. Low unemployment, high participation, historically low racial employment gaps, and with inflation low and stable, healthy real wage gains that were increasingly concentrated among those with lower incomes. Today, the labor market has cooled considerably from its formerly overheated state. The unemployment rate began to rise over a year ago and is now at 4.3%, still low by historical standards, but almost a full percentage point above its level in early 2023.
Very important here.
Most of that increase has come over the past 6 months. So far, rising unemployment has not been the result of elevated layoffs, as is typically the case in an economic downturn. Rather, the increase mainly reflects a substantial increase in the supply of workers and a slowdown from the previously frantic pace of hiring. Even so, the cooling in labor market conditions is unmistakable. Job gains remain solid, but have slowed this year. Job vacancies have fallen, and the ratio of vacancies to unemployment has returned to its pre-pandemic range. The hiring and quits rates are now below the levels that prevailed in 2018 and 19. Nominal wage gains have moderated, and all told, labor market conditions are now less tight than just before the pandemic in 2019, a year when inflation ran below 2%. It seems unlikely that the labor market will be a source of elevated inflationary pressures anytime soon. We do not seek or welcome further cooling in labor market conditions. Overall, the economy continues to grow at a solid pace, but the inflation and labor market data show an evolving situation. The upside risks to inflation have diminished, and the downside risks to employment have increased. As we highlighted in our last FOMC statement, we are attentive to the risks to both sides of our dual mandate. The time has come for policy to adjust. The direction of travel is clear, and the timing and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. We will do everything we can to support a strong labor market as we make further progress toward price stability. With an appropriate dialing back of policy restraint, there is good reason to think that the economy will get back to 2% inflation while maintaining a strong labor market. The current level of our policy rate gives us ample room to respond to any risks we may face, including the risk of unwelcome further weakening in labor market conditions. So let's now turn to the questions of why inflation rose and why it has fallen so significantly even as unemployment has remained low. There's a growing body of research on these questions, including Gowdy Eggerson's work, which we'll shortly discuss, and this is a good time for this discussion. It is, of course, too soon to make definitive assessments. This period will be analyzed and debated long after we are all gone. The arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic led quickly to shutdowns in economies around the world. It was a time of radical uncertainty and severe downside risks. As so often happens in times of crisis, Americans adapted and innovated. Governments responded with extraordinary force, especially in the United States. Congress unanimously passed the CARES Act. At the Fed, we used our powers to an unprecedented extent to stabilize the financial system and help stave off an economic depression. After a historically deep but brief recession, in mid-2020, the economy began to grow again. And as the risks of a severe extended downturn receded, and as the economy reopened, we faced the risk of replaying the painfully slow recovery that followed the global financial crisis. Congress delivered substantial additional fiscal support in late 2020 and again in early 2021. Spending recovered strongly in the first half of 2021, and the ongoing pandemic shaped the pattern of the recovery. Lingering concerns over COVID weighed on spending on in-person services, but pent-up demand, stimulative policies, pandemic changes in work and leisure practices, and the additional savings associated with constrained services spending all contributed to a historic surge in consumer spending on goods. The pandemic also wreaked havoc on supply conditions. 8 million people left the workforce at its onset, and the size of the labor force was still 4 million below its pre-pandemic level in early 2021. The labor force would not return to its pre-pandemic trend until mid-2023. Supply chains were snarled by a combination of lost workers, disrupted international trade linkages, and tectonic shifts in the composition and level of demand. Clearly, this was nothing like the slow recovery after the global financial crisis. Enter inflation. After running below target through 2020, inflation spiked in March and April 2021. The initial burst of inflation was concentrated rather than broad-based, with extremely large price increases for goods in short supply, such as motor vehicles. My colleagues and I judged at the outset that these pandemic-related factors would not be persistent, and thus that the sudden rise in inflation was likely to pass through fairly quickly without the need for a monetary policy response. In short, that the inflation would be transitory. Standard thinking has long been that, as long as inflation expectations remain well anchored, it can be appropriate for central banks to look through a temporary rise in inflation. The good ship transitory was a crowded one, with most mainstream analysts and advanced economy central bankers on board. I think I see some former shipmates out there today. The common expectation was that supply conditions would improve reasonably quickly, that the rapid recovery in demand would run its course, and that demand would rotate back from goods to services, bringing inflation down. For a time, the data were consistent with the transitory hypothesis. Monthly readings for core inflation declined every month from April through September 2021, although progress came slower than expected. The case began to weaken around mid-year, as was reflected in our communications. And beginning in October, the data turned hard against the transitory hypothesis. Inflation rose and broadened out from goods to services, and it became clear that high inflation was not transitory and that it would require a strong response if inflation expectations were to remain well anchored. We recognized that and pivoted beginning in November. Financial conditions began to tighten, and after phasing out our asset purchases, we lifted off in March of 2022. By early 2022, headline inflation exceeded 6% and core was above 5%. New supply shocks appeared. Russia's invasion of Ukraine led to a sharp increase in energy and commodity prices. The improvements in supply conditions and the rotation in demand from goods to services were taking much longer than expected, in part due to further COVID waves in the United States. and COVID continued to disrupt production globally, including through new and extended lockdowns in China. Higher rates of inflation were a global phenomenon, reflecting common experiences: rapid increases in the demand for goods, strained supply chains, tight labor markets, and sharp hikes in commodity prices. The global nature of inflation was unlike any period since the 1970s. Back then, high inflation became entrenched, an outcome we were utterly committed to avoiding. By mid-2022, the labor market was extremely tight, with employment increasing by 6.5 million jobs from the middle of 2021. This increase in labor demand was met in part by workers rejoining the labor force as health concerns began to fade. But labor supply remained constrained, and in the summer of 2022, labor force participation remained well below pre-pandemic levels. There were nearly twice as many job openings as unemployed persons from March 2022 through the end of the year, signaling a severe labor shortage, and inflation peaked at 7.1% in June 2022. At this podium 2 years ago, I discussed the possibility that addressing inflation could bring some pain in the form of higher unemployment and slower growth. Some argued that getting inflation under control would require a recession and a lengthy period of high unemployment. And I expressed our unconditional commitment to fully restoring price stability and to keeping at it until the job is done.
Soft landing.
The FOMC did not flinch from carrying out our responsibilities, and our actions forcefully demonstrated our commitment to restoring price stability. We raised our policy rate by 425 basis points in 2022 and another 100 basis points in 2023, and we've held our policy rate at its current restrictive level since July 2023. The summer of 2022 proved to be the peak of inflation. The 4.5 percentage point decline in inflation from its peak 2 years ago has occurred in a context of low unemployment, a welcome and historically unusual result. So, how did inflation fall without a sharp rise in unemployment above its estimated natural rate? Pandemic-related distortions to supply and demand, as well as severe shocks to energy and commodity markets, were important drivers of high inflation, and their reversal has been a key part of the story of its decline. The unwinding of these factors took much longer than expected, but ultimately played a large role in the subsequent disinflation. Our restrictive monetary policy contributed to a moderation in aggregate demand, which combined with improvements in aggregate supply to reduce inflationary pressures, while allowing growth to continue at a healthy pace. As labor demand also moderated, the historically high level of vacancies relative to unemployment has normalized primarily through a decline in vacancies, without sizable and disruptive layoffs, bringing the labor market to a state where it is no longer a source of inflationary pressures. A word on the critical importance of inflation expectations. Standard economic models have long reflected the view that inflation will return to its objective when product and labor markets are balanced without the need for economic slack, so long as inflation expectations are anchored at our objective. That's what the model said. But the stability of longer-run inflation expectations since the 2000s had not been tested by a persistent burst of high inflation. It was far from assured that the inflation anchor would hold. Concerns over de-anchoring contributed to the view that disinflation would require slack in the economy and specifically in the labor market. An important takeaway from recent experience is that anchored inflation expectations, reinforced by vigorous central bank actions, can facilitate disinflation without the need for slack. This narrative attributes much of the increase in inflation to an extraordinary collision between overheated and temporarily distorted demand and constrained supply. While researchers differ in their approaches and to some extent in their conclusions, a consensus seems to be emerging, which I see as attributing most of the rise in inflation to this collision. All told, the healing from pandemic distortions, our efforts to moderate aggregate demand, and the anchoring of expectations have worked together to put inflation on what increasingly appears to be a sustainable path to our 2% objective. Disinflation while preserving labor market strength is only possible with anchored inflation expectations, which reflect the public's confidence that the central bank will bring about 2% inflation over time. That confidence has been built over decades and reinforced by our actions. That is my assessment of events. Your mileage may differ. So let me wrap up by emphasizing that the pandemic economy has proved to be unlike any other, and that there remains much to be learned from this extraordinary period. Our statement on longer-run goals and monetary policy strategy emphasizes our commitment to reviewing our principles and making appropriate adjustments through a thorough public review every 5 years. As we begin this process later this year, we will be open to criticism and new ideas while preserving the strengths of our framework. The limits of our knowledge, so clearly evident during the pandemic, demand humility and a questioning spirit focused on learning lessons from the past and applying them flexibly to our current challenges. Thank you.
We will see. I think that's it. You know, I don't think we're going to get much more out of Powell right there. I think that was it, guys. And I tell you what, I think that was pretty good. I mean,
The topic for the symposium is reassessing the effectiveness and transmission of monetary policy.
Yeah.
So it's a super important topic, particularly right now. And we've got some great papers lined up for this morning. We've got 2 papers, and we also have a panel lined up for that. But before we get to any of that, I am delighted to say that we have Federal Reserve Chair.
Okay, cool. That was everything. They're just putting it on repeat now. All right, guys. So with the overall CME Fed tool, this is a main thing that I want to take a look at. Now, do keep in mind the S&P 500 is just tanking right back down to anchored VWAP here. So very interesting to see it coming right back down very, very fast, very rapidly coming right back down, giving up most of its gains after the speech, which is kind of funny because we usually equate to Powell coming out and him kind of dropping the overall market when he says good morning, right? He says good morning and then the market tanks. Well, in this case, he says good morning or good afternoon or whatever the hell he said, and it went straight up. Now, after he says thank you, you know, goodbye, the market just fails. Now, I'll just refresh this tool one last time to make sure we have the up-to-date. We are about at the same amount here, where 67.5% are showing in September 18th that we're going to get a quarter of a basis cut, as to where 32.5% saying we're going to get a 50% basis cut here. So do keep that in mind. And then, of course, with the market coming down, these wicks on the 1 minute might show that we have sustainable power in that area. But we'll see very, very soon what is to come with this overall market, because we still have a long day ahead of us, guys. We're going to go ahead and bring and restore these cells, make sure we're all caught up on chat. Predator says, yeah, it was kind of a flat meeting. LOL. Yeah, I mean, technically, we're right back down to where we started. We're still up. We're still up a buck in the S&P 500, which can be noted, you know, considerably. ASTS touched that previous day's high. You guys can see I have that marked out, and it came back down. So I'm glad I paid myself into that. EVGO, as I showed you, I took live right before we took off here. Let's see, we're up about $151 on that. I'm gonna mark this out at $3.95. So $3.95 right here is where I bought it. Right where that red line is, we'll just make a green line just below that. We're gonna see if this wants to hold off. It looks like with the pullback, EVGO is still holding most of its gains. So 1,000 shares there at $3.95. So that's a good sign. We're going to see if this wants to continue to hold. Remember, I paid myself on ASTS to fund my EVGO. And then, of course, we're looking at SQNS, but it looks like it's, well, actually, yeah, we've got new higher lows, new lower highs. So hopefully this thing continues to set up. This is my main watch on this. And then Kava, I called out Kava on the 5-minute opening range break. Why did I do that? Well, plain and simple, I called Kava out because of the volume, and then I said this 5-minute opening range break would be absolutely advantageous if I took it, but I wanted to stay true to my buying. Now I really wish I would have taken it. I'm just glad that sweet Jolene, I'm so happy that sweet Jolene got a piece of that action. Predator says he needs to come out like Steve Ballmer with Microsoft announcing Windows XP. Dude, I'm going to have to look that up really quick. Hang on. YouTube Windows XP announcement. Windows XP announcement. Let's see here. Is this the USOAR Windows commercial? No, Windows XP launch keynote. Is this the October 26th, 2021? Let's see. Can you send me the link, Predator, to what you want me to watch when he comes out? I would like to see that. Because the XP, all I see is a bunch of people singing on stage, and then he comes out. A couple old guys come out to announce it. So let me know. Let me know, Predator. I'd like to see that. Smaid said, "Explain for us the market. It will go up or down." Well, you know, that's a great question. Now, Smaid, you've asked questions like this before, and I have to tell you right off the tip, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the overall market. I don't know. If anybody out there tells you that they know 100% for sure what's going to happen with the overall market, they don't. They're a guru. They're fake. They're phony. They're trying to tell you something that they don't really know. But I can give you my judgment call. He came out very dovish today. Okay, he came out very dovish. Papa Powell, when he comes out dovish like that, he's showing that the market is the labor market is cooling. Okay, so if we look at everything is priced in. We're going to continue. We're going to continue to head up. Now, we are in an area of resistance. We do look like we're starting to slow, but if we can slow and let these moving averages here, just on the daily, if we can slow and let these moving averages catch up, you know, I don't want this to be the rubber band effect where we just go up so high so fast that we're going to snap right back down, you know, into a place of uncertainty. It looks like if we can continue to hold these gains, like I said the other day, the best thing that would happen for this overall market is if we traded sideways, let all these moving averages catch up, and then start to form something like this. Like, look, remember this? This $500 area bounce? When we bounced, look at the moving averages all started to converge. 10, 21, 30, 50-day moving average, they all lined up. And then look, we had a nice pullback, a bounce off the 21, and then we continued higher. You know, and I would love to see that where it's all jumbled and messed up. Well, now we're above all these moving averages. Now, if we can continue to rise, let these moving averages catch up, and then we can continue to head on a beautiful bull run. As we had a huge sell-off here, a big bounce. Now we're above all moving averages. If we can trade sideways, even have a small pullback here, let these moving averages catch up and continue to head higher. That would be the best case scenario before breaking those all-time highs. So we'll see very, very soon what happens. Right now, we are sitting at 562.52. That's a really good sign for the overall market. But like I said, I'd like to see it trade sideways. I'd love to see it trade sideways here, continue to trade sideways, wait until September 18th when the Fed cuts those rates. I think it's going to be a sell the news event where the overall market's going to get sold. I think we are going to head lower initially just to kind of scare out the weak hands, and then we're going to continue higher. That's just my best guess. I could be wildly wrong. I've been wrong before. Been wrong many, many, many times before, but that is why I always preach risk management. Because if you flip a coin, as long as you're using risk management, you can lose $5 on tails, but gain $10 on heads, and over time, you're always going to win money. So make sure that if you are playing this game that we call the stock market and trading, that you're using risk management. So that's the way I see it, Smaid. That's the way I understand it. And that's the way I'd like to see it play out, to be honest, because I'm always rooting for the overall market to continue higher. As you guys know, I always say it pays to be positive. And in this case, it does pay to be positive, because if we look at the S&P 500, since just let's go back as far as we can on my chart, if we go back all the way here to 1993, the price was $47.95 on the S&P 500, and now we're trading at $562. It's been on a constant uptrend. If you go back that far and you look at it, we can just throw this up on the, let's see how far back we can go, the monthly. You can see this constant uptrend. It's simple, guys. It's simple. It's a constant uptrend, and there's reasons for it. It pays to be positive. More people are buying into this. There's 401ks, Roth IRAs. Any vehicle of investment usually buys into the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is your best 500 leading stocks that are out there that constantly get rotated in and out of the best stocks that are out there. Okay, and if you can believe in America, you can believe in the S&P 500. Okay, and I believe in America. 100% I believe in America. And I know everybody talks a lot of bad thing. Oh, this economy, this, that, this, the other thing. Well, guess what? We've had a lot of issues with this economy. We've had a financial crisis. We've had a pandemic. We've had wars. We've had just so much crap, right? But if you continue to believe in the U.S. economy, you're going to make money in the long term. So I always I'm always telling people, you need to have a long-term investing account. Something that you're going to put money into and hold on to for the rest of your life. Aside from that, make a little side account. I don't care if it's 1,000, 2,000, in my case, 30,000, just sitting on the side. And I use that to try and beat the S&P 500 because I love it. That's my passion. That's my game. Okay? So then I use that to buy things like EVGO today. We're up $200 on. Why? Because look, this is my setup. Let me bring it up on the daily. I did this in front of you right before the meeting. Big push up on volume, a pullback. It rides the 10 and 21 day moving average. It gets tight. It breaks higher on what? Volume. Right here. Much higher volume than ever traded before on the 5-minute. When I see that, I say, hey, there's a big buyer here. I want to be a part of that big buyer. I want to ride on the shoulders of those giants. So I took the trade. I took a small 1,000 shares, and we're going to let it ride. Okay, we're going to let it ride until it tells me to get out. When am I supposed to get out? If you guys have been with me for any amount of time, you know when I'm going to get out of this trade. There's 3 reasons why I would get out of this trade. 1, it stops me out after I take my shares off at break even. Okay, it breaks the 10-day moving average, or the next day there is earnings. Those are the 3 reasons why I would get out of this trade. Other than that, I buy, I sit back, I wait, I hold, right? But I have to wait for this beautiful, beautiful setup. And we took it. It might come back down, it might stop me out for the low of the day, or after I take off half my shares at, let's say, 4 or 5R, after I take off half my shares, I bring my stop up to break even. Then my next stop is either break even, break of the 10-day moving average, which is right here, sitting a little bit higher actually than my low of the day. So I can use that actually rather than the low of the day. I can use the close of the 10-day moving average. Or if we have earnings, which they just recently had earnings in August, so we won't see earnings for a while now, we're gonna hold on to this until then. It's that simple, okay? And if you guys can get behind that, if you like what you see, hello, how you doing today? If you like what you see, do me a favor, take a little peeky gander at my screen. We're gonna end this poll actually right now. We're gonna end the poll right now. We're gonna go over this too. So we just ended the poll, guys. I hope that everybody got a good vote in. We got plenty of people that voted, 23 votes actually. The question was, will the SPY react to Powell bearish or bullish? 65% said bullish, 26% said bearish, and 8% said that you're just here for the speech. So thank you for stopping in for the speech. Make sure you hit this like button. Let me refresh this really quick. We'll see how many likes that we got up to. We got 15 likes and 17 watching. What the hell are you doing? Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. This is the best stock screen, the best stock show out there. I promise you that. It's only going to get better over time. We've been doing this for a couple years now. I've been trading for quite some time, guys. I've been trading for quite some time. I have a passion for the overall market. I have a passion for the stock market, for Jerome Powell, these meetings, the Super Bowl, baby, the old Super Bowl, baby, and we were here for it all. And of course, I'm going to be bringing you those updates on the overall, I'll give you the shorts, the YouTube shorts on everything that happened, and we'll go over it all. So it looks like ASTS hit that top. That's why we pay ourselves right there, guys. Now I can afford for this to come all the way back down and stop me out, and I will still be up on the day. I will still be up on the day. Even if it comes all the way back down, knocks me out for 87 bucks, I still made the 200 or around $150 on this for the day, but I'm just going to hold on to it. I'm just going to hold on to it. Why? This volatile pullback, I've already paid myself, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, if I had all my shares, I'd go from having $500 up to being back down to flat. No, that's why I pay myself. I pay myself at these resistance areas. Of course, I'm expecting this thing to kind of trade sideways for a while. And if it does, that's A-okay. As to our EVGO, this is what funded it. If this comes all the way back down and stops me out, hey, that's fine. I'll just be break even on the day. Now let's go back to the S&P 500 and see how it is trading. Now I will have to say this, the majority of the poll, which usually happens, 65% of you said that we were going to head higher, and that's how we were going to react to old Papa Powell. We did head higher. Look at that. Away we go. We are trying to bear in on those new all-time highs. We're not too far from it. I would say we are about, let's see, 62, 63, 64, about $2.50, $3 to hitting those new all-time highs, give or take a few pennies there. So that's a beautiful sign, guys. So the 62% of you that voted that we did. It's looking good. Let's see, the market will behave about the same, no real change. You can copy it from the Discord DM. All right, let me take a little peeky gander at the Discord DM. We're gonna see what old Predator, my boy Predator, sent me here. Let's see. I posted 213 room chats. B Stewie. Oh, B Stewie took Kava as well. 40 shares at 113. Hell yeah, my brother. Very good. Very good, B Stewie. I'm glad I can make you guys some money in the Discord. Of course, I'm taking full credit because you made money, but if you lost money, I'd say, hey, it was on you. That's how a true guru does it. But I'm no guru, guys. I'm just a guy, just a trader. But no, I'm very proud that you can make some money, brother. Clicking buttons, taking names. Let's take a look. I need to get back to the general chat here. Oh, here we go. All right, I'm gonna watch this. I want to watch this really quick. Let's see. We can watch this together. This is how he said. This is how he announced the.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ballmer!
Oh, snap. Look at him.
Come on! Get up! Get up! Come on! Come on! Give it on for me!
Look at him. Looks like he's on
Come on! Who said sit down?
Okay, wow. Predator, holy cow, dude. You were right. Powell needs to come out like that. Because he's in a suit and a tie and he's just chilling. He's so chill. I love it, dude. I want to watch it again. Look at this, dude. This is great. Predator says this is how Powell needs to come out. Excuse me. This is how Powell needs to come out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ballmer!
Look, if I made $300,000 a year, $500,000, I'd come out like this too.
Come on! Give it on for me! Come on! Who said sit down?
Oh my gosh. Look at him. He's more out. Get that boy some
I
more.
got 4 words for you.
4. Give me him.
I love this company. Yes!
Wow, that dude is so out of breath. Predator says Powell needs Powell needs to come out like that. He says, wait till they cut away from the mic. He is sweating like, oh yeah, no, you could tell. That's a big boy to be jumping around on stage like that. That's a big boy, you know. All right, so ASTS came back down and stopped me out of the low of previous day, which I'm totally fine with. We made $134 on that trade overall today, so I'm very proud of that. Looks very, very good. We're still in EVGO. We're just going to let that baby ride. We're going to see where it comes to. S&P 500 looks like it is pulling back as well today. We're trading right now at 561.79, so much higher than the previous lows of yesterday, but we have not broke the highs of yesterday. So it looks like that's where our resistance is that 563.15. We're going to see where that ends up taking us. But I'm missing the best part. Am I? All right. Well, hang on. Let me fix that. You said I'm missing the best part. We'll fast forward to what he says. When he says, who told you to sit down? This is too much fun, man.
Who said sit down?
He says I'm missing the best part. Let's see it.
I got 4 words for you. I love this company.
Yeah, that's 5 words. Yeah, it's 5 words.
Developers.
Look how sweaty this boy. Look at this crowd. Oh my gosh, dude. What do you think, Predator? Did I get it all? He is sweating like a pig. Holy cow. I mean, when a big man's jumping around like that on stage, when he's jumping around on stage like this, I mean, that's what's going to happen. The only thing that would make it better if he like flip the podium. He like flipped the podium and like rips down the Microsoft. Oh my gosh, dude. This is great, though. This is great. Yeah, he got real sweaty. And then they changed it. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's good. That's really good. I want to capture like this picture though. I love it. Look at this. He looks like an ox. He's getting ready to kill something, man. No, if I made like $300,000 a year too, I would come out on stage like that for sure. You know what I mean? I really would. I would come out on stage. I would be screaming and hooting and hollering and all that good stuff too, for sure. But all right, well, we're still live. So this doesn't look like it's setting up my trade. If it did, this would be the first higher low then. If it holds this, it would make the new higher low. But Predator, you're awesome, dude. Thank you for sending that to me. That made me cry a little. Don't cry. I said I wouldn't cry on stream. No, but yeah, that's great. Yeah, Powell. If Powell came out like that, dude, people would be like, "Whoa, dude, whoa, the Fed Chair Powell is on drugs, bro." Especially he comes out so like, so suit and tie, so chill, so laid back, so pristine. He is the majestic Powell. He comes out so pristine, and he comes out screaming and hooting and hollering like, "Yeah, Fed rate cuts. We're going 75 basis points," just jumping around. Oh, yeah, I would love it. STEM, that's a new one to pop up. Lots of volume coming in on this one. Still much below all of its moving averages, but let's see if any kind of news came out for this one here. Nothing. I'm not getting any news on STEM, so this is just one that's just going straight up on no news, so that might be an issue in the long run. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I absolutely love being here. I took a live trade for you. We were already in ASTS when it was popping off at the mouth. Things were looking really, really good. So I think today was an overall great day. I think what I will do is just let this baby ride. We'll see what wants to happen with that. And I'm just going to be looking for some other trades. I think I'm going to go through, we'll go through the overall Mag 7. We'll see how they're holding up as Meta just trading sideways still from yesterday, having an inside day so far. Apple. Let's see how Apple traded as well. Looks like it followed the S&P 500 relatively well. We're creating a base here on Apple at this just under that 230 area. So if Apple can get above this 229, really, if it can get above that 229 or 228.50, I think that'll be a nice trade there as it's following. It looks like it's starting to ride that 10-day moving average. Things are looking really, really good for Apple. Let's look at NVIDIA because we've seen NVIDIA this morning. Yes, so NVIDIA is doing pretty well. It popped up initially before the meeting and it started ripping, and then the meeting came out, headed up even higher. The pullback is less than the S&P 500, so that looks really good. But do keep in mind, on the 28th, so just a few days here, we are going to be streaming the NVIDIA earnings as well, so that's going to look pretty good. Let's see how Kava's doing, guys, because I know some of you guys got into Kava right down here at this 113 area. Proud of you for taking profits already, Beef Stewie. That's really nice, and now you can let the rest ride. You can even move your stop loss up to either break average or keep it at that low of the day, depending on how you feel with the overall Kava, but that's looking really, really nice. One thing I want to take a look at is the old PRCT. I'm totally out of PRCT. This was my biggest trade here. We made close to $2,000 on PRCT, if I remember right. This was a beautiful trade. We played off of this area, got in at 72.24, sold most of it out previous day, somewhere before closing in the $83 area. Then I held on to another 1,000 the next day, and then as it just sold off hard, I exited out of it. I did not want to hold on to much more, so we just exited out of it, because if it wanted to continue higher, I would have left this in, but right off the morning, people were just taking profits, obviously, like crazy, and the uncertainty of the Jackson Hole. I'm willing to let this thing trade sideways, let the moving averages catch up, and get back into PRCT because of this huge push on its FDA approval. I'd like to see this thing kind of trade sideways. So it's going to be on my watch list for quite some time. Of course, Piton is on here. I'm looking to short this thing, to be quite honest. I don't believe in Piton. I could be very, very wrong, so don't follow me into this trade. But eventually, once I start seeing weakness up here at these tops, I'd like to short the living crap out of Piton. You can just see it's a failing company. I don't see, how you're going to get people to pay for what they try to get them to pay for, but the more I talk, the higher it goes. So maybe I keep on talking until it goes parabolic. Then I can short the thing. But it's only at $4.65 right now. So not a lot left to short. Even if you want this thing to go to zero, you have to take quite a few shares. So fear of getting squozened out of that could be an issue. We have AIRI. We played this yesterday. This was the 5-minute. This was my 5-minute strategy. This made me about $700 yesterday. So it created these new higher lows. You got 1, 2, and 3 new higher lows here. I actually counted this as a new higher low. So I counted this as 1, 2, and 3 new higher lows. And then 1, 2, 3 new higher lows here. This is where we ended up taking this trade in the pre-market around 546. And we let this thing play out. My strategy involves breaking the previous higher low. So it came really close to stopping me out. I watched it really, really closely. Obviously in pre-market, we don't want to get sold off into, but I like taking these down here and I like taking them in the pre-market if they set up my strategy. And sure enough, it pulled back, showed strength. Now I'm wishing I added, but hey, no big deal. And it came up much, much higher. When it cleared this high of day, I exited a third of my position. And then of course, exiting most of my position somewhere in this area. I did not trust it as it just started to kind of get really lackluster on the volume push higher and much higher volume to the sell-off. That's what scared me out right here, just doing some volume analysis. Of course, this thing had the ability to go much higher right here as it set up 3 new higher lows here and 3 new lower highs right here. So I took this trade one more time as it came back down and stopped me out. So I lost about $100 there. So overall, I made about $600 on this trade playing my strategy. Very happy with that strategy, very happy, and continuing to bring more examples to that. So that was very, very nice. Oh, Jolene, sweet Jolene says, got to get the G-Uber going, the grandma, or the goober as I like to call it. So you have a great day. I hope you have an awesome day, Jolene. Thank you so much for stopping in. Time to go back, but we need those user hours up. That's right. We are working on those user hours. If you guys are interested in it, I'll just let you know we are a little over 2,000 user hours. We're well over the 1,000 subscribers. We only need a little over 1,000 more. Well, no, a little under 2,000 more hours view times watch. So we're just trying to work on that. More people watching, the more hours we get, the better off we're going to be. That's when I actually will start getting paid from YouTube. So that's nice. Obviously, I won't be getting paid a lot. Doesn't matter anyway. I just love doing this. So I'm glad you guys are here with me. Let's continue to keep an eye. ASTS, as I pointed out earlier, I'm looking for new higher lows, new lower highs on the daily. So it was nice. It was nice as this thing ran today. I played off these previous double bottom yesterday and made a little bit of money yesterday in this, made a little bit more money today in this, and now it's just pulling back pretty hard. So we're going to see what it wants to do in the overall market. SDIG, I was just watching this. This was a buyout, Bitcoin miner. Mountain Dew Zombie says, what's up, big bro? What's up, little bro? It's good to see you in here, brother. I'm glad you stopped by. Much love. I hope everybody had an amazing time on your trip when you guys were out there. He went out there on a nice long adventure. But those long adventures, those long vacations never seem long enough. It's always like you need one more day, one more day, one more day. I hope you had fun out there. Hope you're having a good time. We're going to see you guys very, very soon, I'm sure. PRCT, we already went our so Carvana, CVNA, I'm telling you, I follow People's Wish, and he is talking mad crap about this. I'd love to get a piece of this and short this because this company is not sustainable. It just keeps on heading higher and higher and higher. Eventually, I'd like to grab 1,000 shares of this, ride this all the way to the bottom, and I'll be a rich man. I'll never have to work again. But, they did. I was stuck at home. What were you doing stuck at home, Daniel? Danielson, why were you stuck at home? Did you have to work or what? Are you just maintaining the house? Or talk to me, brother. Why were you stuck at home? It's never good. FEIM is continuing higher. It looks like this was a beautiful rounded bottom. I've been watching FEIM for quite some time, not to be confused with the small cap ticker FIEM, I believe it was, but this is FEIM. I called this basing breakout, and I did not get a hold of it because it did take off. We pointed this out with the volume, but that sell-off would have stopped me out anyway. But it looks like it is going to continue. Just not a ton of volume in this, so not the prettiest thing. But hey, it's working out. AIoT, this is what I was just keeping an eye on after earnings. It looks like it's right back under that trend line. Maybe this thing will take off. Not so sure, but I'm not too excited for it anyway. I will just set my alert right here just because they're free. They're free. Why not set an alert? KVYO, I know Dan Bob, Dan the Greatest Moderator Alive has been keeping an eye on this. Dan, I know you were really excited about this thing 3 or 4 days ago. That's why I told you we need a couple of weeks on this. At least a couple of days, if not a couple of weeks, because we want to see these moving averages catch up, push it up into this base, and then it'll be a 5-star setup. It'll be a 5-star setup. That's why I have my alert set up here. If this thing can do that exact thing, that would be a beautiful sign. As we get a big push up on volume here, it's pulling back on much less volume. So we want to see it ride, push up into there. I wasn't invited. You weren't invited. So I just watched the house. Come on. What do you mean you weren't invited, dude? You're always invited. Come on. Don't be like that, Daniel. You're always invited. You should have came over and said hi. You could have hung out with me. You're always invited over here. Let's see. Look at Swim. We could take a little peeky gander at Swim. Beef Stew, you might as well put it in the YouTube chat so we see it. But yeah, Swim is looking good. If you guys remember, Covey actually called this one out, and it sucks because he ended up getting stopped out right before it took off right here. He took this, and it came back down. I think it was either on the 1 minute. Was it the 1 minute? Or maybe he took it right here. But he ended up stopping out on Swim, which really sucks because this thing continued to head much higher. Swim is looking very, very good. And now it's showing after this big push up, we have a pullback here. This might be a new area that we can keep an eye on into getting in on this daily time frame. If we look at here on the hourly, we probably see a nice cleaner setup here. I'll just go ahead and set this like this and like this. and we will keep a close eye on SWIM. It looks like it wants to break out here. I'd like to give it a couple more days, maybe even base out here, but I'll set my alert because why? Well, they're free. Why not? So we'll see what SWIM wants to do. It looks like EVGO is pulling back down. I don't think I want to take a loss on this thing. We're going to let this thing play out. We'll see. This was the breakout. You know, this was the breakout, and now it's breaking back down with the overall market. But I'm going to leave my stop right where it's at because I do like the volume that came in. I do like the volume, even on the hourly. You guys can see right here, the hourly volume that came in here is much higher than much of any of the hourly volume that has came in before that. LOL, sorry, SWIM. No, I see you now, brother. No, you're good. I love to see it. I love to see it. But I think we're going to call that a show, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys are, each and every one of you guys are awesome. If you've been here since the beginning, much love. Nothing but love for each and every one of you. You guys are absolutely awesome. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And if you want me to do more morning shows like this, just let me know. Throw it in the chat. Let me know. Throw it in the Discord. Let me know. We can do more morning shows like this. But most of our shows are going to be recorded so you guys can view them on video, or we do meetings at 9 at night. So that way we can all be there, we can all be ready, and we can all have a nice source and understanding before the market open the next day. Hope you guys loved it. Hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you guys have an awesome night. Take care. Peace, baby.